Episode 43 of the Mid-Geek Crisis. My name is Joe, the Afro Man, and I've got two partners in crime today on the stream, or the episode stream. This is a stream. It's live. We might be doing this here on out live. I've got to this side over here, I've got Pedro. Cautious, really sad Cautious today.
Issues, and it just got worse and worse and worse until we got this working. So
he was having some mic trouble, so it's a pain. And below us, our wonderful VR individual and host of name of your podcast, it's brother sister brother. I always get them confused.
It's brother sister. We're the sibling streamers, and we put on the show Brother Sister every Tuesday night.
There you go, on Twitch, right?
Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. So there we go. Eastern Standard Time. There we go. Yeah. So here we are, guys. We're all three of us. I've been wanting to do a stream with all three of us, and it finally happened. So I'm excited.
And describe what tech are you using to do this?
Oh man, so I've been fighting OBS. OBS, you have to deal with audio issues of trying to get mics and then a connection from outside in from another person, getting the camera layouts all order, no lag. We did this last time, Pedro and I. We tried to get your stream while you were your first daddy day while you were in the hospital. We were trying to kind of co-op and nothing was working. It was a mess. And I eventually found this amazing piece of software called StreamYard, which is you create an account, you tie it together. I'm tying it to my Restream account and go. I didn't have to fight anything. I just imported a couple graphics and drop it all in, and boom, that was it. Chat is integrated with all the channels. It's the simplest thing. These guys are awesome. I can't plug them enough because it has worked that simply.
Yeah, it didn't help Joe that I did nothing and helped in no way at all.
You're here to look pretty.
I'm here to. That's why I'm here. All right.
You're the
my camera then, right? Because
you've got that silky voice. Everyone talks about your voice.
Mm-hmm. And I get why is Jordan here? Because this was a surprise to me. What Jordan's doing on the show? I love it.
Well, I'd been talking to him about this particular piece of software a couple days, and he was on live on the Dreamcast stream on Monday, and I was
I wish I could have been there longer. It looked like a great stream, and you had quite a few folks show up for it.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. So I was I had a little problem originally trying to get into the stream because I was using a stupid cable that apparently doesn't up convert. It was just pushing out 640 by 480, and my Elgato hated it, so it kept flickering. So I eventually brought in the big guns. I brought in my FrameMeister from the main room, which pushed it all up. So that's why everything looked nice and crispy. So it looked really nice and crispy, 1080p for a Dreamcast.
What did we learn about streaming, Joe? What did we learn in the first 20 minutes of your stream? What do? You check the comments, right, to make sure.
I did. Well, so what I had to do, because of course I hopped online and no one's hopping. So
I know. It just cracked me up because there was me being like, "Yo, we can't hear you," and someone else was like, "We can't hear you." Look at the comments.
No, I sent my message to my sister. I was like, "Hey, hop on real quick and tell me if you can hear me." He's like, she said yes, and I was like, "Oh." And then later on, when you sent me the message that you can't hear, she goes, "Wait, no, I can't hear you." I'm like,
she just replied yes. She was like, this guy."
This guy.
The thing is, I think I logged in early and I could hear you, and then the minute you turned on the game, once you got rolling, it just couldn't. You were talking about the game and the system and the history, and I was like, "It's gone. The volume is way too high."
Again, that's all back to the way OBS works. The monitoring, you think it sounds good, but the way it's coming out at the far end, I need to find a way to monitor myself on the end of the stream so that I know what all the mixed sounds sounds like. And that's what was going on. So I had to really tone down the game audio. The game audio was the bar was this big. I had it down to this far. And apparently that was enough.
It sounded perfect. It was great. It was a great stream. I forgot. I don't want to rehash it, but I forgot how amazing the Dreamcast is. Even watching you play, I was like, some of these games look like they could be 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So, it was amazing to revisit that. So nice. Whatever. Good job. I don't know. Are we plugging our own thing? But
no, it's fine. It's great. Again, it was the 20th anniversary of the Dreamcast, and a good example is one of the games that that we played on the stream. Again, I feel like we're just, I don't know, sometimes we hit that mark and we don't realize it. I played Choo-Choo Rocket, the first like 10 levels of the game on the stream. And I had mentioned, I'm like, this game has never been ported, or if it has, I haven't heard of it. And sure enough, Apple came out, did their big announcement for the new iPhone and whatnot. But one of their first announcements was Apple Arcade. And one of the games coming out on the $4.99 a month, 100 games thrown at you day one is apparently a new Choo-Choo Rocket from Sega.
Ooh.
Once again, we are the zeitgeist.
Apparently, we're the zeitgeist. We're like on it. So I saw a couple screenshots of it or little clips of video, and it looks amazing. It's like this kind of a 3D world, like an island or whatever. It shows the mice running around, and I was like, oh my God, there it is, Choo-Choo Rocket, the one game that I didn't think we had here again, and there it is. Going to be on iPad and iPhone and, of course, Apple TV.
But that's a game, like, they may not have reported it, but I mean, that game has got a reskin over and over again. I feel like that's like a really familiar game.
It must be, but I haven't seen it anywhere else. Like, it's not one of those games where I've been like, oh, let me get my DS version of Choo-Choo Rocket out and play. I don't remember it being ported.
I've never heard of it till you put it on. So I feel like it's one of those games that people who know games love, right? It's one of those.
Right. It was a launch title for the Dreamcast.
Gamers game when they talk about it. I'm just like,
it was a launch title, and it was also multiplayer, like online multiplayer. It was because all the Dreamcast came with a modem, so you could connect to SegaNet and play 4-player Choo-Choo Rocket back in 1999.
Nice.
The Nintendo had a modem, though, right? I mean, like that's
the GameCube. Well, the GameCube you could buy the
broadband adapter
separate. Oh, okay.
The BBA, the broadband adapter, and that thing was. Again, it was for Phantasy Star Online 2, Episode 2 for GameCube, or Mario Kart. And at that point, oh, there he goes. There he goes.
Phantasy Star Online for GameCube?
Yeah, there you go. That's the one. Look at that. He's rocking it. That's the one. It's meant for that.
This is 1 and 2. Actually, so it's so funny you brought this up because I bought this game when I had my GameCube, thinking I was eventually going to buy the broadband connector. And then I played this a couple times, and it's horrible. I was like, why would I ever want to play this game? Yeah, it's a horrible game. It's really boring.
That's a hot take from Jordan. Welcome to the show.
Hot take. All the Sega fans are going to be like,
to Legacy 77.
Yeah, Legacy 77. Yeah, Phantasy Star is loved.
There are some fans. There are some fans
of the Phantasy Star
passionate fans. Passionate fans. Isn't there a new one that came out or got hinted at coming out? I feel like a new Phantasy Star Online was coming out.
Phantasy Star Universe is being brought over to the US for the first time. So it's kind of a big deal.
It doesn't matter because World of Warcraft is going to crush it. It's crushing everybody. It is like it's 1999 all over again. What happened there?
I don't know.
Wasn't there a meme about that? Like Dave Chappelle is
trending. Everyone's playing World of Warcraft. There was a couple other things. So and so's in the news or whatever, and then we're back in the 90s.
It made no sense. It makes no sense. But I mean, World of Warcraft is in the 90s. Is it? Is it the 90s? No,
like
2000, like early 2000s.
No. It's I thought it was like 50.
I remember it launched when I was working at Dell because I had a roommate that played it, and it was 2001 at least.
No. It came out after Star Wars Galaxies, and I didn't get to start playing Star Wars Galaxies until like 2003, 2004.
Yeah. I was definitely married when it came out, so it's definitely I don't think it's that old.
Oh, 2004. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Because it ripped a bunch of stuff off of Star Wars Galaxies, which is still the greatest MMORPG of all time.
Oh, hot take. Because I remember that being a big pile.
Only after they capitulated to fan desires.
Which is always the wrong thing to do. The voice of the customer. Why listen to them? They're crazy.
What they want. None of them want that. Jeez.
Everyone can't be a Jedi, guys. Everyone can't be a Jedi.
That was I remember that, right? Like it was a roll of the dice. Like you logged in and you created a character and you either got a Jedi or didn't, or you had to level up to a specific point to become a Jedi.
Folks,
was it the EQ Death Knight back in the day? Like you'd have to get to level 50 or whatever to become a Death Knight, and then you go back to level 1.
So there's fantastic academic articles written about this, and even from the game designer itself. So folks don't know, Ralph Koster, who is one of the big game designers for Star Wars Galaxies and went on to like consult on some of the other ones. He's like a genius and is responsible for achievements as we know them. So Mr. Chivo Hunter
I love him. I love him already.
And he wrote. Yeah, Star Wars Galaxies was one of the first games that included achievements, and they framed it as badges that when you go to places like the quintessential places in the game, it would pop up, and it's like, oh, you achieved the findings.
It's like a lore badge. I remember them.
Yeah, so that got stolen. Anyway, so he's got a fantastic bunch of like blog posts and articles talking about the design process of this game, and even the Jedi, and how Sony was like, oh well, people are going to want to be Jedi. And they're like, well, we're trying to make a realistic Star Wars game. And so
mistake number one,
they had to make it really, they were like, how do we make the game realistic and still allow the possibility for Jedi? So they just made it really, really hard. And then they were going to do some like cool stuff, and they ended up doing lame stuff and made it so you just had to master like 10 different random classes in the game, which took like 100 hours to master each class. And so people were just grinding. So it became a grind fest, which was frustrating for many.
I remember because everyone just wanted to be a Jedi.
Well, not everybody. Some of us were in it
for the bounty hunter. Yeah, the role playing. Yeah.
Okay, I was like 14, 15.
Please. Guys,
if you first role playing.
If anyone doesn't, we've talked about this. Probably we've talked about it on other shows without Jordan here, but we've talked about the fact that he's one of our D&D players and he loves using accent. I'm just wondering, did you walk around playing this game using an accent? Oh, please! I can already see it in your face that you did.
Very appropriate for realistic Star Wars.
I did.
So I
played a Trandoshan. And
wait! Push up your glasses when you say that.
I played a Trandoshan.
All right. Yes.
Anytime I typed out letters, I included way more S's, and I only spoke in the third person.
I can't believe this game isn't still around today.
It is still around today. Hey, folks, go to swgemu.com.
Oh my God! Is it one of those classic servers that someone created?
They're recreating it from the ground up, and then once they release it,
and then Lucas will sue him.
Done.
Well, okay, it's all volunteer based. The game's functionally done. You just can't do the like spaceships, which was like an add-on afterwards.
Can I be a Jedi?
Well, yeah, you have to go the long way though, so you have to master all the classes.
They're essentially doing the exact same thing. They're doing like WoW Classic, where people want that old grind. They don't want the new.
It was amazing because it was like you came out. I think there were like 20 different classes. There was unique experience point types for each of the classes.
Yeah,
then
I remember.
You had like the advanced classes, and then like it just you could do so much. Every character felt so unique.
Way too crunchy at a time period where everyone was simplifying games. It was so weird.
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah, it was like everyone was ready for a very.
Everyone just wanted to be a Jedi.
Yeah, everyone just wanted to be a Jedi, and
we didn't have a game before that.
You have to like read a shit ton of books, and there wasn't Reddit back then to help you build your builds, right? So, I mean, it probably would do great today for like 12,000 people, right? And
right. So that's exactly
people use it. Well, I think it's like 1,100. They don't have 12,000 yet. They have 1,100 people that are about active on the server every day.
Oh, but but I mean, like if they get it done and working, you probably can get people playing, right?
Right.
10% do the work, the other 90% just mooch. Internet.
And type and like, why is this not working? Fix my bug.
I see you at a Jedi, but I can't dual lightsaber. Where's my dual lightsaber? I want to dual wield. I want to carry two. I want my lightsaber to be a blaster too. I want to blast.
So like you like light it up and then fire from the bottom of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or do you just shoot the whole blades out?
It's funny you say that. So
in a recent
Dark Horse comic, there's a new lightsaber gun. The librarian of the Jedi Academy has like a one-shot lightsaber gun. So that's a real thing.
I don't know how I
like most of Star Wars. It's basically just wizards in space. So okay, yeah, I'm down with that. That's fine. That works. It's not Battlestar Galactica. Like I'm not expecting realism from Star Wars. So yeah, my lightsaber can now shoot lasers.
But trade wars, Pedro.
That would have been amazing if it was better written. I'm sorry. A political Star Wars would have been interesting if it wasn't just trash. I played the recent
Star Trek.
It's
I'm just
Star Trek isn't political; it's moral. There's a huge difference between the two, right?
I agree, but most morality ends up going down the political.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there is that, but I mean, it's making a statement. But politics is separate from morality, and sadly, we've confused the two, right? But it's definitely two separate discussions. You can run a very solid political system that is completely immoral, right? That's you could. I mean, we might do that here. I don't know. Jury's still out.
God, we're getting deep today.
I was gonna say something terrible, but I'm not.
I was too.
I'm just gonna. We're live. There's no.
Yeah, you gotta. There's certain things. Well, live is different.
That's never stopped us before.
World of Warcraft. Have you guys? Did you played it, Jordan?
I only bits and pieces. I didn't. I was too poor to like have a subscription.
Fair. Joe, you played it, obviously. Yeah. So
I mean, there were tons of trials. Like, didn't you get like someone hop on, like play like the first like 5 levels or whatever? I played it for like the weekend, the free weekend when it like came out or something like that. But I didn't have time. Like Star Wars Galaxies, when it came out, I paid a subscription for that, and then I couldn't afford anything else.
And I just remember like the idea. I was like, man, am I really going to pay $15 a month for this? That's insane. And then like 3 years later, yeah, exactly. And then I was like, man, I just paid $340 for this game. It's ludicrous. But and that's not even counting hours, right? Because we all know time is money. I spent a ridiculous amount of hours getting up to that 40-man raid level where I was playing the hell out of it, right? Reading the articles about it made me super nostalgic for it. And it's a weird sort of nostalgia because a lot of the articles are about how people forgot how hard World of Warcraft Classic was. Like it wasn't. Oh, I knew. Yeah, but I had forgotten that like the idea of explanation points leading to where you had to go, that wasn't in WoW Classic. No. Right? I mean, the barons were full of where's that orc that they need to find to hand in a quest. He wasn't even on the map. Like you had to like search in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, eventually third-party tools were being installed, and then the map overlays, and then like people had written like coordinates on the map for like quest finds, and like you could drop there's that waypoint because you installed your. And they added looking for group and all this stuff. All these enhancements that the player community asked for because it was hard to do these levels. Wailing Caverns. I don't know if you remember Joe, but I mean, I was talking to my brother about it, and right away he was like, "Yeah, I don't think people remember Wailing Caverns. That was a disaster and also fun. It was a 3.5 hour instance with a good group, right?" So first of all, find a group because it was like a level 12 instance. So usually people didn't know how to run it. You had just run your first elites. No one knew what they were doing. And if you had a dumb hunter in your group, which you always did, always had a dumb hunter. Yeah, monsters can get pulled from the entire instance. So there's just a pain train coming your way, and you've lost, and you have to start over. So finding a group for Wailing Caverns was impossible. But when you did, it was a blast. So the interesting thing that the articles I'm reading about it is this sort of discussion on how because it was so hard, you had to form a community to get things done. So you had to talk to people and join in with people, and you had to protect your reputation because if Cautious Clay was a jerk to everyone, my name was Brother Khan on World of Warcraft. If anybody played back then, no one would play with you. They wouldn't run instances with you. You had a reputation as a bad player, whatever, what have you. That doesn't exist nowadays because now you can just be. You hit the looking for group button, you join the instance, you get the quest you want to get done, you drop out of the group. And that's the sort of expected behavior now because it's a casual sort of gameplay. And I hadn't considered that when I first started playing World of Warcraft, I was like, 25? No, wait, 30 something? So I had a little bit of free time, a little bit of disposable income. My partner was going to get her master's, so she was working all night long. I didn't have much to do, so I just played this game nonstop. And now that I'm 40 something, I don't have time to spend 3.5 hours working in Wailing Caverns. Like I just and that's where modern WoW comes into play. That's where play a quest, hop out. So World of Warcraft kind of over its 15-year development cycle has grown to cater their initial groups of players in that way. Where the initial groups of players, as their time started getting smaller and smaller and smaller because they started growing up. They didn't have time to find groups. They didn't have time to meet strangers. They didn't have time for that. So all these tools were put in place to help them lead a casual World of Warcraft lifestyle and still pay that $15 a month subscription fee. And now all these people are going back to World of Warcraft Classic, and they're like, oh wait, I gotta be friends. I gotta figure out how to manage 10 people for this raid. I gotta figure out how to manage 40 people for the next raid, right? So it's insane.
I'm interested in what the development cycle for WoW Classic is going to be. I haven't read enough on it, and if any of you guys have seen it, I would love to know. But like at some point in time, they're going to freeze time, right? And
I didn't think they were adding anything to it.
Like, right, but
patch the problems.
Right, it would they right. So like, there's problems in there. That how far do you already have the playbook, right? You already have the playbook. You know what you're going to add. So it's not like you're going back 15 years and then slowly start adding those increments again until you get back up to the base game. Are we going to get back to,
we're going to be talking about this at 55, and we're going to be like, well, World of Warcraft Classic 2 is coming out. They're going back to version
2019. Reclassic. Like, I'm confused at where do they stop? Where does the novelty wear off? Where you're like, yeah, this was fun. And then when you go back, so is WoW Classic always going to be like this snapshot for someone? When does the nostalgia run out? Or how long before the people that like the nostalgia want more, but they still want it in that old way? Are we going to get expansions, new expansions, or those same expansions but not fixed? I'm confused where you go from here.
Well, you go as far as you need to go to keep your subscribers in that server. So if those eventually all those people who are forming queues and making lines, they're going to disappear. The nostalgia is going to disappear. People who are trying are going to be like, man, 15 years ago sucked, Grandpa. They're going to move on, right? And then you're going to add the hardcore gamers that are going to play and the occasional tourists. And so Blizzard is going to talk to those hardcore folks, I think, and they're going to be like, hey, there's just enough of you to maintain the server, but we're not doing anything more than that, right?
It's going to be 12,000 people paying $15 a month.
Yeah, which is great. That's enough to keep the lights on, right? So that's what they'll do. Or those folks will be like, you know what? Can we get the next 40-man raid? And Blizzard's going to be like, maybe we can sell that as a WoW Classic expansion again. How does that work?
I don't know how any of this works.
They just go into the warehouse and grab all the copies. What is it? Burning Crusade? Was that the second one released? Was that the
Yeah.
Pull that out and shove it out there. It'd be amazing if they just resell all of their old stuff. It's like that's how Rockstar makes their money, right? They just keep reselling their same library over and over and over again. Hey, thanks for joining, Caleb.
Really sad, cautious. Oh man,
the saddest of cautious is that's this timeline today.
So, speaking of, let's jump on the next topic real quick. Because speaking of back to the late '90s, early aughts, GameStop, the news today that their stock plummeted overnight, and they announced midday, right around 11 to noon, that give or take, they said that they are closing 200 GameStop locations.
So, as a percentage of their stores, how many is that, right? Because I know Syracuse seems to have like 5 of them. So,
right. I mean, it's a lot, but not a lot. Like
10% of their stores.
Yeah, within a quadrant of a city. So if you split a city within 4 into quarters, I would say that there's at least 10 per quarter, depending on the size of the city. I know even here. Leave Burning Crusade out of it. That was a classic game. My favorite.
Burning Crusade was the greatest WoW expansion. All right, so if they added the classic, I'd be thrilled. All right, Caleb. All right.
Yeah, what was it? That was when they added the lizard people, right? The Kunar? No, what are they called? What were they called? The lizard people, right? Or were they the cat people? There was a new race added.
Sounds like you're talking about the Alliance, and I was
thinking
not
about EQ.
Alliance. Horde for Life. They added the Sun Elves, the
Tauren.
The bad elves they added.
The Blood Elves.
The Blood Elves, that's it.
Blood Elves and the Tauren, right? The Tauren was also Burning Crusades, right? They added 2 races, one good, one bad. The Naga?
Those were bad guys, though, right, Caleb? Okay, he's going to answer. They're bad guys. I'm pretty sure the Naga were bad guys.
He said it was the Naga. I don't know.
So a course I teach, I include a video game documentary about video game and addiction, and it's centered around the release of Burning Crusade.
Oh, really?
It follows a few different groups.
That's right.
Aliens. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Thank you, Caleb. The Draenei, whatever you say it as. What's the name? What's the name of the documentary, Jordan?
Oh man, what is the name of it? It's like
If you can pull it up, I'll plug it right here since we've got this whole new system that I can do that.
Worst guest star ever. Doesn't know his stuff.
Video game.
He teaches this for a living.
He does. I think, like all professors, he just teaches the kids how to use Google. Is that what you do?
Wow, documentary. Tells the
I wish,
no, it's not that one.
You're going to teach people out of my job. That's for sure.
GameStop's closed, but you know what? I mean, sad face, but if I'm honest, I haven't walked into a GameStop in probably like 8 years.
Yeah,
no, that's a lie. 5 years, but I haven't bought anything from them in 8 years.
So I'm very confused on what's going to happen here. They're closing a big amount. Dismal. They had a quarter. It was terrible. It was terrible. I walk in there now just to buy like gaming accessories ish, like maybe like when I'm in the mood to like buy a Pop Funko or something. Like or I'm looking for a case for my Switch or something, or some sort of like, I don't know. I don't go in there to buy games anymore. Games are like the last.
Is that your destination, or is it because you're going to a store near a GameStop and you're like, oh, I'll stop it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly it.
And that's been my GameStop shopping habits forever. Oh, there we go. 200 stores. Oof.
Yeah, 200 stores. It's
their whole business model was built around used games, and I feel like everyone's wised up to it. Right?
Yeah.
Although I was just about to go in to upgrade my Switch though, because they have a sweet Switch deal where like they'll buy your Switch for $225 and then you can upgrade to the next battery for $300. So it's like
okay, yeah. Go to the new model.
Yeah, so the film's called Second Skin.
Second Skin,
and it's about like basically video game addiction. Like people
right here
into that. Yeah, I've got it pulled up. So like this is the film, but yeah, so they pull right into it, and this is
oh god, this is giving me so many feels.
Like, and it's them like waiting. Hold on, this couple gets married at like a WoW conference, and then these guys like wait out line.
Who gets through this? Who? Nice. See, yeah, no one's walked into a GameStop show. It's just surprised no one that they're going out of business.
Yeah.
So, who gets to decide if they're addicted? Are they telling us they're addicted, or is the
well? Some of them end up going to like this is back. So I think it came out like 2008. So this is right when they're starting to open up addiction facilities for online.
Oh, this documentary is 10 years old.
Yeah, this is 10 years old.
Wow. So that means that this documentary takes place. Burning Crusade says 05, like a year after the original release.
No. It's Burning Crusade was like 2 or 3 years, right?
Well, Burning Crusades had to have like if 04 was the launch of WoW.
I think it's like 6 or 7. It wasn't.
This would have been filmed in 7. It was released in 8.
Yeah. So it was like I was gonna say 6 or 7. It took like 2 or 3 years for the first expansion to come out because they had all the patches, all the fixes, everything went in. They fixed a lot of things before they launched Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
There was a huge buildup. I remember like there was world events happening because they had to drop.
Yeah, right? January 16th, 2007.
Dude, I played hardcore, man, because they had to add a raid, and then they fixed the raid, and then it changed one thing, and yeah, there was a bunch going on. See, Caleb knows what's up. He knows.
Yeah, 15 years, man. That's the reason that's why they lined up the classic release for this year. They were like, "Ooh, 15 years of sucking your $15," you know. So,
or please stick around and play the game we sold you 15 years ago. There you go. Mm-hmm. My favorite is, I've been reading a lot about it, feeling nostalgic, and reading it has allowed me not to even feel like buying it and logging in. Right? So it's great. But like, I don't know if it's the same commenter or not, but there's always some commenter that goes on there is like, why did they release WoW Classic as 1.17? It should be 1.0. Like, there's one person out there who's like, it's not classic enough. And I'm always like, yeah, dude, that's the hill you should die on.
That guy right there.
1.17 is not classic enough. Like
that guy is the equivalent of Homer building that car.
He's never happy. No,
he's never happy. Like, never happy. Why 1.17? Great. Oh my god, perfect.
We can give him a time machine and teleport him back to the very first copy, and he'd be upset. Look, it's raining outside. This isn't going to work out for me.
Yeah,
It's not on like DVD disc. Like they made a digital copy.
I don't have the same like spin and churn on my computer. Yeah, let's release WoW Classic Beta.
They're not playing on dial-up. How can we? It doesn't count.
I'm a beta player, bro. I'm a beta player. Let's get Caleb right there.
Beta, all right. Sure.
Beta. That's good stuff. But anyway, the nostalgic feels must have taken hold because I was cleaning out the basement and I found my old DSs, of which I had forgotten I had 4 of them. Like I have 2 small ones, 1 large one, and then I have the 3DS. And I was like, what? How did I live a life where I've accumulated this many game systems and did not know? Because I'm typically...
How did you find those and not find them when I was still there? You would have given them to me. So you'd just be glad.
I gave away all these game systems. I had them in like a really small, because they're so small. Right, those
like a little box.
And I just had them in a little tiny like jewelry box in the back, and I guess I thought there was something more valuable in there, but it was the whole games. And
the most valuable memories are there.
The most valuable. So here's my joy, right? Like I've been trying to figure out how to get my daughter to play video games that she can learn how to play, that actually teach the base skill sets without assuming you have the base skill sets, right?
Nintendo's perfect for that,
and Nintendo's perfect for that. I have to come to terms with the fact that Nintendo is not only perfect at it, they're better at it, right? So, like I popped in Super Mario Brothers, and she struggled initially to get how to figure it out, but she got it. She's like, "Look, I'm jumping on the mushroom. Look, I'm getting the coins. Look at this. Look at that." She doesn't. I mean, it has a lot of. It doesn't explain anything, right? It doesn't tell you that the little mushrooms make you bigger. I didn't even know that the little tiny mushrooms make you really tiny in that DS game.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. World 1-1, there's a, just like you said, there's a whole documentary about stage 1-1, about how it's the perfect level, how the layout is perfect. About
it teaches you everything going through, right?
Oh, you run into that one, oh, it kills you. Then you jump over that one, but then there's another mushroom, and you run from that one. But then if you grab it, you realize you're bigger. I mean, it gives you all these like context clues.
All the context clues are there, and I feel like all the platformers I've tried to introduce her to, they just assume you know them. So within seconds of you playing, it's there. Like, so she's getting it. She's loving it. And so I was like, well, the DS is the system we're going to play on. So I charged them both up. And now I'm sitting next to her playing on my DS, and I'm like, is it 2004 all over again? What am I doing? I seriously consider it, because I take the bus to work, and I was like, maybe I could just bring my DS on the bus. Like, who's gonna, like, people are gonna look at me and be like, what the heck is that? But why not, right? Why not play my old games? I mean, I have Final Fantasy Tactics, Age of Empires. I've got both Advance Wars. I got Fire Emblems. Like, I've got some like hardcore tactical classics.
You can drop the DS in your 3DS, right? Is that what you're playing on, right?
Well, I'm so the 3DS is great, except when you have a 5-year-old, you know what they love to do? Push up, push down, push up, push down, touch, push up, push. So it was like 3D, not 3D, 3D, not 3D, 3D, not. I'm like, that can't be good. Close it. Let's play the other ones. So she's got one of the little ones. Although she started playing, because I went to Voltage Video Games here in Syracuse. It's a used game store. Great place, super helpful. I walked in there and said I want some Pokemon games, because I didn't want to pay the exorbitant prices that people were charging for Pokemon games online.
You messaged me before we did this. I was like, be warned, Pokemon games.
Because my daughter's really into Pokemon. It's getting her to read. I want to encourage her to read more, and Pokemon games seem like a great way to encourage her to read more, right? Because it requires so much reading. So I wanted to pick them up, and I looked online, and like one of the best rated ones was $350, like Heart Gold, Heart Gold, Silver. Of course, it was way out of whack. And then there's ones that are going for 10, and I'm like, those are bootlegs, right? So I know enough that the price should be in the middle. So I picked up Pearl and Diamond. Pearl and Diamond, she created a character today. She was thrilled. Her video game time ran out, and the first thing she yells at me, she goes, I haven't even caught my first Pokemon. And I'm like, tomorrow, kiddo, you'll get. She was like upset that she hadn't done it yet. But she picked Piplup, so I guess she's a water Pokemon, and we'll go from there, yeah. So it's good. I mean, retro gaming is in effect full nostalgic. We're all yearning for a more innocent time 15 years ago. I think it's what's happening, right?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, retro gaming in general is weird, right? So it's like a renaissance, but not with the Switch. We've now got so all these other consoles, like the Wii had the virtual console and the Wii U had the virtual console, and then the 3DS has kind of a virtual console. But I think Nintendo finally got it with their online service. They just decided to push out these channels. So you now have like a Super Nintendo channel and a Nintendo channel, and you log in, and there's just 20 plus games. Basically, a Nintendo Classic or Super Nintendo Classic in an app on your console that you already enjoy. And they're going to be rolling out games like on a month-to-month basis, adding new, 2 or 3 titles.
They just changed that news. I was going to ask you about this. Did you?
They said that the Super Nintendo one will not be getting them as monthly like the Nintendo.
I thought it was all of them. I thought all of their retro virtual updates. Now there's no set release dates. They're just going to release them when they're done. And I was like, okay, well, this is the first step in Nintendo like cutting back again, because this is where Nintendo's not great, right? It's like they have all this IP and they've just been holding on to it forever. And now
what are they going to do with it? I don't understand why they're not. It's like they've got these rich minds and they've got all these 40-year-olds who can't wait to throw money at them. Like tons of money just sitting there in piles. Why wouldn't they just put these games out there? I don't understand. They're waiting for a recession. They're waiting for a recession.
I think the way it works is and this is the same thing that happens with me with any type of like right now nowadays they know people have like flashcards and all these other methods of like playing. And as soon as you dump the entire library of a game of a whole all these games, then none of them get played. Right, you have too much choice. I think the study is I think if you just trickle them out, a specific game or a specific, let's say for example they're gonna release Metroid Prime 4 or whatever soon.
By the way, I got the web page up on.
Oh yeah. So so Nintendo Switch Online will no longer add new games every month, which is fine. I can see why they would want to do that. I think the way it works is they're going to add Metroid Prime. This is an example. Metroid Prime 4 is coming out, let's say next month, just as an example. It's not, but so what you'll do is then you can release maybe a new Metroid title on those classic games to get people to ramp up. So it's like, oh, here it is. It's released this week, and it'll give everyone 2 weeks primer to play that Metroid game to kind of like really eat it up, and then boom, the new one comes out. I think that's the way to work. If you just dump all of their old franchises all at once, everyone wants that. But honestly, everyone has 50 other ways to play that game. Being able to just play it on your Switch at that moment, if they trickle it out, it allows them to have more content. Plus, I was Greg from Funny Games. He was talking about he's going to hold back on like buying Switch titles right now because the Switch console has so many games.
It really does.
If you look at the library of digital plus physical copies, I think this month alone they had like 20. They have like 20 games, like 20 plus releases for either digital or more than any other console. And this is
it seems like it has everybody else's games and their own exclusives. Yep. Like it's like anything that if it's released in the wild, it's going to show up on the Switch, and we have our own exclusive Nintendo Switch. And I'm just like, all right, okay, I can get behind this. Like I know I'm buying a Switch. Probably for Christmas this year. It was supposed to be last year. Things happened. It's going to be this year, and it's probably going to be Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? Like, and then that's an exclusive. And then once I've got the Switch, forget it. Civ 6 is going to be on the Switch. I'll lose my job. I'll live in a box. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I mean, a portable Civ 6. That's a recipe for not sleeping ever. I
was waiting to bring this up, but Pedro, did you see the new Civ 6? Someone made a mod for it. I got it on the screen.
No, what does it look like?
I know you guys talk battle royales in Fortnite.
Oh my god, I saw about this.
Civ 6 into a battle royale, where it's functionally Mad Max. So it's 7 players start on like a continent. And then the Red Death slowly inches in, and so the players are forced to move closer to each other, and like they can like capture cities, like drop nukes, all sorts of crazy things.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I'd play that. Why the hell not? That sounds like a blast. It's crap.
Yes, it is.
It's really enjoyable. I really enjoy it. It's always up on my screen. I'm never not playing Civ 6 for the record. I mean, like it's literally like I'll walk by my monitor and be like, oh wow, let me play 2 turns, and then I'll go and do my other things. Like it's Yeah, I really enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. Right now, I'm playing Pericles, and I'm trying to win a culture victory, which is relatively easy with the Greeks.
So right now, obviously, we're gonna talk about what's coming up Friday. We're gonna jump on that in a second because that's important. It's super important
to you, super important to you,
to you too, because you know you're gonna hop on
mid-October. That's what my budget demands. Mid-October is when I'm going to buy it.
We're not waiting until mid-October for Borderlands 3.
You know what? Every time you ask me if I'm waiting, I'm adding another week. So we're at 5 weeks now for the record.
What we're saying is it's just going to show up in your library because I'm not like. It's just going to show up in your library.
You're actually going to log into Epic and buy me Borderlands 3. You're going to do that? You're a monster. You're
going to log into your Xbox. You're going to log into your Xbox and buy it. I don't. Fucking hey, don't.
You're going to be mad because you're going to be like, his Xbox doesn't even have enough space for it. I can't even install it. What the hell's going on? What does this guy have installed?
I'll install everything. Borderlands 3, only thing that matters for the next month and a half.
Yeah, so we are talking about Borderlands 3. We're excited for it. Jordan, are you excited for Borderlands 3?
No. You both obsessed with this game. It's fun.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
It's not the best game.
What?
So first person shooters of its kind, first person looter shooters.
Sell me on it.
No. You don't think it's the best? What is the best first person looter shooters? What's your take? What's the best first person multiplayer shooter looter out there?
Oh man.
Well, I mean, we've really zoomed it in now.
I would say
that rhymes with order ands for the record.
I would have said Destiny 1.
Right there with you, Jordan. We got someone else that's
so Brian, you mentioned you're right there with Jordan on it not being great. It is great. We can agree that.
It's fun.
Okay.
It's got millions of people.
It's good. It's good. Maybe even the GR. I'll even consider it. Well, actually, no. I'll cap out.
So what's great? What's your standard for a first person looter shooter?
Okay, so my question is
the first Destiny. I love the first Destiny. Like a year after release.
Hot take. Bold choice, Cot.
I like the two. A lot of problems I had with it, but I like the two. Yeah.
And I get the Borderlands draw. The aesthetics.
Borderlands 2. I'm not talking about 1, 2.
Okay, so maybe I don't know if I played 2. I definitely played 1. No, I played parts of 2. It's funny. It's the aesthetics is cool. I never played it multiplayer, so that may have limited because Borderlands 2 was multiplayer, right?
Yeah, Borderlands 1 was multiplayer as well, but they added it afterwards, I think.
I'm sure that added to it because part of what I love about the first Destiny game was the crew I played with. That made the game. So maybe I haven't played it. Right?
Brian, the Epic thing has soured your excitement. Come on. Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, no, I get it. No one wants to go to a club that everyone's a member, right? You don't ever want to be. You don't want to do that. You don't want to enjoy the game because it's too hyped. I could do that. I can get behind that because I do the same thing.
Yeah, Pedro's the king of that. But I think so. Again, we've talked about this on the show multiple times, and I can't get a solid answer from anybody. Every time I see the answer on chat posts or whatnot, they're just like, "Oh, they're being anti-consumerism." What is about that hate on the Epic Store that just I don't understand? We've talked about this multiple times. Steam was the only show in town. They were not being friendly. Valve cared nothing about the gamer anymore. They weren't doing the deals anymore. They don't release the games that people want. People are like, Half-Life 3, we're not getting it. They're not giving us anything Valve anymore. They're just worried about Steam, and the review bombs that happen on there are affecting developers, and they won't fix the system. So someone else came out and said, here's a new store. We pay developers more. We're giving free games every week. And players are like, no, I'm not buying it. I'm going to boycott this and wait till it comes out on Steam. I'm like, what is going on? Here's a store that literally was harming developers. And yet...
It's because no one likes a winner. Unless, I guess...
Brian says, a different thug to love. I guess, man, I just don't understand. We've seen what happens with the digital age right now. We talked about it a couple weeks ago with DuckTales. A good example to this was the DuckTales remastered game by Capcom, a big company, put it out for digital. It was a great game. They've pulled it from the stores, which means that you cannot buy it anymore. If you own it, still you can download it for now, but we don't know what the digital age is going on with. As in these games that you buy in one store, how long? I mean, I'm not saying Steam is going anywhere. I'm not saying Valve is going anywhere, but like the inevitable happens. What happens to these back catalogs or these servers or these libraries when everything is in one location? I don't understand. I know people want streamline in one location, but at the same time, having some redundancy and some competition is good for the community and good for gaming companies as a whole. The idea of one putting out good deals is causing Steam to kind of rethink the way they do things and hopefully changes things in the way better. Like the interface for Steam hasn't changed in like 5 years.
So
like,
thank you, Brian, for setting Joe off. This has been Joe's Rants, / Joe's Rants.
I just want
like we all have our things.
I just want choice. Like I don't mind. Like on my computer, I've got like 5 different stores installed now. Like you've got the EA store, right? You've got the Epic store. You've got the Ubisoft one. You've got all these other ones. You've got Blizzard. No one is everyone okay with Blizzard because they only put out their Blizzard games, but if they started buying other games and getting exclusivity, would they start hating them? Like I'm so confused about the exclusivity thing.
People just hate Epic because they want to hate Epic because they're the biggest, meanest, toughest video game on the video game developers on the planet, right? I mean, they've got
the Fortnites.
They got the Fortnite, which we try not to talk about this year, but yeah, they've got Fortnite, and Fortnite was a juggernaut. Everyone loves Fortnite so much, yes, they've gone around to hating it.
Joe, I'm with you. In some sense,
late-stage capitalism power plays.
Yeah.
Late-stage capitalism power plays. Yeah, man, it's the truth. Like it's a passion in some way. Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up both the stores right now. It's both Steam and Epic because I'm with you on the aesthetic aspect. Like Epic, they mastered their aesthetic in terms of game store. Let's see if it loads.
Like this is a mess.
It just looks so much better than the Steam. The Steam is pretty bad, but I like how much cleaner the Epic store is.
Oh, but that's cleaner. It's cleaner, except I've got video streaming. It probably has sound.
Steam one does the same thing, but look at the game installs. Like these are the ones that are installed. Now pull up your game library on Steam.
So, and I know Steam just released a new, apparently they updated. Maybe I don't have the update yet or something.
Wait, is that your library on the left? That's all the games you own?
Oh, for Epic, yeah. I only get the free games. I haven't bought any.
I meant for your Steam. Steam.
Oh no. Games 12,000, 1,255.
Yeah, man. I'm in the 300s or something.
So how do I show mine?
How many games do you have?
You only have to share the app. So open it up and then share the app like we did earlier.
I'll show you. You want to see this? I'm opening up the app, right?
This is all Humble Bundle, pretty much.
Yeah, man, Humble Bundle is great. You pay a couple.
It's
bucks.
Great. I love spending $15 to buy 100 games that I don't play. That's That's the best fucking deal on the planet.
It's perfect. I love it because he's not even a digital hoarder. Like he wants a way to remove games off of his digital library that he's not going to play. Like let's look at.
Want to see?
Let's see. You got it up?
Yeah. Okay, so.
Oh, that is sad. That is sad.
And I want to go on record. I downloaded Arma to play DayZ, which I did not like, and King Arthur was a gift.
Oh, sad, cautious.
Sad, really sad face.
Look at 5,772 hours.
You don't even have all the Chivos. You don't even have all your Civ 6 Chivos.
No, I'm just working on them as I work on them.
Too slow.
What?
But okay, so we're going back. So I'm with Joe on the aesthetic portion, but I think the frustrating thing, and I think maybe I share this with other folks. I hate I hate that I've got like 6 apps on my desktop devoted to like some games I can play here, some games I can play there.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just afraid of the monopoly is not the right word, and I'm afraid what is it?
Steam is like the Amazon of like digital games.
Sure, it is.
Yeah, they do horrible things, and people are probably dying because of them, and it's like an unethical business.
But it's so easy to buy.
It's so convenient.
It is. No, I get it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to stop using Steam. I'm just saying that there's room in the industry for a second store without the stupidness. Like, just I don't get it. There is room for it.
Here's what it is. There's no ethical consumption under late stage capitalism, right? No matter where we buy our stuff, we are committing some sort of moral crime.
Right.
If that is the case, then we have to invent reasons to not buy from places. So Epic right now is the big piñata that we yell at, right? So we draw the line there, right? We just, hey, I was okay with my moralist purchasing of games on the computer that probably involves slave labor to produce. I'm just going to buy it from Steam. Oh, this other guy wants me to do the same thing for them. I can't. So that's deep inside. We all know we shouldn't be buying computer games from either one of these companies. So they're just going to draw the line at Epic, right? That's what it comes down to,
I guess.
I mean, I don't want to.
No, I agree with you.
Is that's the hottest it takes? Maybe we should have like a graphic that comes up. The hottest it takes. No more hot takes for the episode.
There'll be more
hot take of our live stream is that one.
Yeah, there'll be more graphics for sure. Graphics overlays.
And I'm feeling especially good today because I went to a used game store that's owned locally to buy my 2 games, right? So I'm feeling especially smug regarding my late stage capitalism purchase.
Buy local. But
if you're gonna commit this, go buy local. Buy local.
I do. I love local stores. I was at Voltage like once every couple of weeks when I was in South.
I walked in there. I was like, should I drop Joe's name? Would they give me a discount? If
yeah. No, I still rock the Voltage shirt occasionally. I really like.
Logo. I wonder. She probably thought I was you. Actually, I probably.
So you went to the downtown one, right?
Yeah, I went to that one. The one right across the street from TCG Player, the card game company with the big castle. Have you seen?
No, that wasn't there yet.
That wasn't there yet. It's an amazing structure.
So they built something across the street from it.
So TCG Player, the big company that sells Magic cards, right? Or Magic cards, Pokemon cards. They got a big business model around that. They're right across the street, and they redid their headquarters, where now they have sort of a castle and a dragon inside, and they've got rooms that you can look into where people are working. It's like a Mario Brothers room. I think there's like a Dungeons and Dragons room and maybe an Atari room. And then right across the street, Voltage Games is there. And Voltage Games sells board games and used games. It's a great little spot downtown, in a beautiful downtown area. And I never did the math. They're actually like 8 minutes away from my job. So I could just walk there, hang out, and then catch my bus home. So it's I feel like I'm in the actual city again. It's kind of nice. It's nice. Another reason to love the city I've been banished to, so it's good.
For 4K banished. It's for all the atrocities to humanity.
Never allowed to leave. Syracuse is my Madagascar, right? That's
banish it.
Hey, what else we got? So,
real quick, I mean, we're almost at our hour mark that we try to always hit at. It's nice because I've actually got a live counter and whatnot.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I did up there. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, but one of the things is we like to talk about what we're playing right now.
Right.
I think Senor Jordan showed me what he was playing earlier. If he wants to get that shown away, So Jordan, what are you playing right now?
So this is the most recent game. This is actually from a Humble bundle. It's a Humble original. This is called A Short Hike, and it's described as like an Animal Crossing meets I don't know. I don't know what else to say, but it's like kind of a linear little story. It's really simple. You start here at the bottom of the hill. You're just this little bird. You're coming out camping, and you have to make a phone call. And to make your phone call, you only have cell service on the top of this mountain, which is a short hike to get to. And so you're just running around. Yeah, you're just talking to characters. You're finding feathers. You're unlocking things. But like the music is gorgeous. I love the aesthetics. It's purposely pixelated. And you just fly.
That was a really smooth zoom out too. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I like that. It flows. It plays really nice. I think it was like a 4-hour game, so I finished it. And now like I seriously, I've got everything. I unlocked all the Chivos, but I keep kind of coming back to it. It's just like a little meditation. You just fly up and then fly around, and like the characters are cute, and like the little missions were cute, and it was just fun. It was just a stupid, simple little game. I think it was like $8. So I recommend it.
Dramatically different from the game I've been playing all week.
What have you been playing, Vader?
Wolfenstein.
Oh,
Wolfenstein. Which one?
The new one, Wolfenstein New Order, whatever it's called, the one that's on Xbox Game Pass.
Okay, yes.
I don't know. I
So it's the second. It's the sequel, right? To the first, to Wolfenstein.
that one's also on Game Pass. No, I'm talking the original new one, the original new reboot,
Oh.
whatever you want to call it.
Very beginning of the game, they're storming the castle, and then you have to make the choice of choosing a character.
That's the one. Yep.
Okay, which great. And who'd you pick?
I killed off the old guy.
Okay, all right. So what's interesting because you play the game all the way through, and then when you play the sequel, it asks you which one you.
Oh.
Because he just keeps going on. So
I'm probably going to have to play it again to get the achievement because depending on which one you pick, you get a different achievement. Everything else is you got to actually go back and play it. So I'm playing it on super hard difficulty, and it is intensely satisfying to kill Nazis.
It is
like it is. I'm sorry. Not only that, the AI on these Nazis is subpar. Like if this was any other game, I would rate it as like, dude, this is your AI. They're dumb. They're really dumb.
Yeah, but it's good that they're dumb
because they're Nazis. So you're like, I'm gonna make some noise and just line these guys up, and they'll come down a hallway being like, "What's that sound?" And I'm like, it's like therapeutic almost.
Also, the best part about it is as you progress in the game, I don't know how far you are in the game. The game kind of gets a little ludicrous, which is fantastic. Like you go to the moon.
It's just the right level of over the top, and you don't know it's going over the top until you're like deep in it. Like I was like, oh, this is a pretty substandard plot, and then all of a sudden there's like a voiceover, and Blazkowicz says something like, I killed your Nazis. I killed your giant robot. What else you got? And I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, I'm down. Like, this is what I'm down for. So it's great. I mean, I understand why it got such high ratings back in the day, and it feels so perfect now. Like every time I read the news, and it just gets worse and worse. I'm all like, I'm just gonna log into Wolfenstein, shoot some zombies for some Nazis for a little while. I'm hoping there's Nazi zombies because then it'd be ideal. But yeah. So and part 2 is on Game Pass, so probably I'll log in and shoot some more Nazis.
Not better. What's great about it is one of my favorite parts about the game is as you start that first game and as you progress, your legend gets Terror Billy, as they start calling you later on.
Oh my god.
You become kind of you're a terrorist.
Yes.
To the Nazis.
Billy Blazkowicz,
and then you eventually become a Terror Billy. But you're a legend, and so my favorite part in the game is you can play the game 2 ways really. There's stealth and like run and gun. The stealth method isn't very like good because you always end up making a little bit of noise, and then all of a sudden.
No, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm a ninja. I'm a goddamn ninja.
Oh, really?
And B, the most satisfying way to kill a Nazi I've discovered is to stab them various ways. I think that one guy I killed, and I killed him in the bathroom, and they actually added an animation for that moment for me to dunk him in the toilet while stabbing him. Yeah. And I was like, well, thank you, artist and developer, for bringing this. See moment that you won't have to animate again. Will never happen again because it's just
to do it. But for that instance, they knew you'd do that.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great. You walk in for the stealth missions, and occasionally there's 1 or 2 Nazis standing there on patrol, and then like they bicker or they talk, and the stuff that they say, you're like,
so inane,
so good and like terrible, like. About like, oh, super Americans, this and that, and like, oh yeah,
it's great. I love it. Like they got together and they said, "Boy, we're making a really stupid game in a really stupid time. Let's just embrace that and roll as far as we can with it." And I'm all like, "Yeah, giant robots shoot some Nazis. Let's go."
I'm 3/4 of the way with the second one because, like I said, I told you that I was almost done with that in that one because I want to play the 2.5 one. Mm-hmm. It's like a sequel to the part 2, but not completely part 3. So I'm excited for that one because
so you're playing that now. That's the game you're playing right now.
No, I'm playing the second one. I'm playing the new order, the new order, the new order, whatever. So part 2 is basically what it is I'm playing right now, and then 2.5 is one that I'm waiting for. But yeah, I'm excited. That's a great game, and again, it is therapeutic. It's so funny in 2 different ways.
So therapeutic.
It's great. What am I playing?
I'm also doing my Dungeons and Dragons. That's also new campaign starting up on Sunday. I'm very excited for it. It might start off on a sad note. Jordan, spoilers. I'm like, I have 8 people. I'm gonna have to ask for volunteers to move to guest star status for the first round. I don't know. I'm trying to work out how I'm gonna do it. I know who I want to play. I know who I want to make sure I have space for, and who I kind of like. Oh, let's see what we can do. But
yeah, that's Youngblood. So that's the one that I'm waiting for.
That's the new one. Yeah,
that's the new one. That it's like 2.5. It is not really a part 3 from what I've heard development wise, but Youngblood is it's a sequel to part 2, but not far enough to be a part 3. But yes, I have it. I own it. They gave me a free copy with a new card that I bought, but I don't want to play it because I never played part 2. So that's why I'm running through part 2 right now.
It's really important that you know the arc of Blazkowicz, how many Nazis he killed,
I would have thought not, but then like the over the topness of part 2, like what they do.
Imagine you logging in, I'm like, I don't know why I'm killing these Nazis. What's the story here for Blazkowicz? Why am I so angry at these Nazis? Dude, stop asking questions. Just kill the Nazis.
So good. Kill the Nazis. I do know the Youngblood or whatever. It's Blazkowicz's daughters, and you play co-op. So it's a co-op game. You can play a campaign. Both of them you can drop in and out, or one is the AI, and then so there's always 2 players on the screen, and but you can actually run through the entire campaign with 2 players.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So campaign D&D that's coming up. I am not. I have not picked up anything right now because I am almost fasting for Borderlands. I didn't play anything this week. I think I sat down and I started playing Wind Waker on my Wii U.
Just because the new Link's Awakening comes out next week.
That comes out next week. I know. That's why I'm playing Wind Waker a little bit. I wanted to get in that mindset because that'll be my downtime game from Borderlands. It'll be the play Wind Waker because it's nice. I mean, Link's Awakening on Switch, and then I'm gonna immediately go into Borderlands.
I just imagine like all these cognitive scientists being like, "Downtime game? What is this man doing to his brain?"
What am I doing in my brain? That's exactly right, folks. Yeah, I had been playing a little bit of Dreamcast, like everyone saw on Monday. I was
great. I don't know how you can install that and not be playing it all week, right? Just enjoying it forever and ever.
Oh, it's right here. Like I've been.
Right there. I can play it anytime I want. I do it all the time. It's great.
Absolutely. Oh my god. Yeah. No. So yeah, we'll probably be doing a little bit of Borderlands 3 streaming at some point in time. I'm sure. I mean, I will. Maybe I'll get Jordan to play a little bit to make him like the game. Maybe he'll be like, "Oh man, this is fun." You know.
Does that mean I have to buy it?
We'll figure out a way. We'll get you.
I'm sure you have it. You couldn't find it in the 1,300 games you have on Steam. I mean, it's there.
I do actually know. I think you guys gave me like
somehow or another he has it on Steam. And
that's right. We got a card at PAX East. You dingbat.
Yeah, I think I got.
Oh no, that's part 1 and 2. That's part 1 and 2.
Definitely.
Yeah, I got 2 and Game of the Year edition,
which is part 1.
And Tales from Borderlands.
Yeah. That's the Borderlands is great. That's a really fun one.
If you're not familiar with the Borderlands universe, I mean, play Tales of the Borderland, you know, and tell me if you don't fall in love with that universe. That's a great universe.
I'm sure I do. I probably.
I don't know, man, because I feel like Tales from the Borderlands requires so much knowledge to appreciate all the introduction of characters they have.
Maybe. You know what? I wouldn't say this for any other game, but if you wanted to jump in and you didn't want to run through part 1 and 2 again, there are video like YouTube, you know, kind of catch up synopsis.
Actual story to the game.
Yeah. There's great story in Borderlands 2.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's the best part about Borderlands 2. Borderlands 1 was meh. Borderlands 1 at the time was like, man, you
pretty generic. Mad Max-esque.
But once 2 came out, the genius of part 2 was the fact that they took all those players that you played from part 1, the nameless like meat shields that you played in part 1, and they made them NPCs in part 2, and they became integral pieces of the story. Gave them character, gave them a full
it's all the voice acting and the characters. I mean, the plot's there and it connects. The plot's ludicrous and over the top, but the characters is really what sells.
So good. And then the villain, it's like the villain is the villain to hate. Like by the end of the game, you were just so satisfied to fight this final villain because you're just like, yes, because you're so angry at him.
Having played part of it again, the beginning, I'm like, man, I forgot how funny and stupid this game is.
I did it. Yeah, I did know it was funny the few times I played.
Oh, so good. Come on, butts down.
But it is a grind. It's a grind. It's the old one's a grind.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Sunday D&D. I'm excited for it. It's going to be good. That's going to be our session 0. I put up a little post on what the world looks like because of our last campaign, Jordan. Turned the world cold, so I'm excited for that development.
So it's continuing from that story arc, but not the same characters, obviously.
So not the same characters, no, because I like to reboot. I like to reboot everybody's level back to 1 after we hit 10, and but it's going to be the same world, and I think maybe it'll be the same world, maybe like 5 or 6 adventures before the end of the last campaign. So it's going to be just as the snows hit, because I know the characters for the other campaign are pretty much in the mountains. They're far away. They can't overlap. So we can do stuff in other parts
Now
of
Did
the
you
world.
collect did you collect character sheets for NPC purposes?
You know what? My NPCs are always ludicrously drawn up. So so yeah. So I just basically use them for fluff. Hopefully the players won't try to kill them. Right? That's really we're gonna have that discussion at session 0 as to our expectations.
Level 10 characters walking in as NPCs would be like an instant death for a level 1 character for sure.
Yeah, that'd be devastating. Unless it was Mixon. Mixon would probably die, but all the other
well, he would be the best at dying.
He would be the best at dying.
No, I want to try to convince the other folks to do like a Monster Hunter type thing, where it's like every session we're just like facing like a cool monster to take down. Would you
like a boss fight kind of thing? That would be great.
Yeah, like just like and that's. And like we're collecting pelts, or we're trying to rid the world of these like new like the demons that are popping up, and so it's like, oh, like you got to go up this way. Her news is there's a hobgoblin over here, and I feel like that would make it really easy for like bringing
drop-ins and drop-outs. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So before we leave it, since we got on the subject of D&D right here at the end, I was telling my sister and her friends, there's a little chat group that they all talk. It was my old D&D chat group, and they all hopped on again, like the channel lit up again, and they were all talking about D&D. And I suggested adventure leads, kind of like we had talked about it before, and like, hey, go find one. And I found it, but I feel like not all of them seemed like I was reading some reviews and whatnot. You got to find the one that really catered to like the new player for sure.
It's just like there's Adventurers League from my experience has gatekeepers.
Yeah, of course.
They've got groups of people who come in and they expect to play. They expect to play a certain way. They're expecting to loot, because Adventurers League, they do have cards and upgrades and things like that you can get only in Adventurers League, and you can use across Adventurers League adventures. So you have to find a good group. You have to. Having done it 3 or 4 times, my experience is you have to get in a night where they're trying to recruit new people, because they'll make sure they've got the extra DMs to have a table of just new people. Right, that's the hard part. Or you show up with the group that's going to fill a table, so you don't have anyone that's going to bully their way into the group because they know people, because they've been there, because they've even played that adventure before, which I guess is one thing you could do, is go from store to store playing the same adventure.
Farm.
Yeah, you can farm.
Oh my god, it's like
but more importantly, you know where the loot is, so that your paladin, you don't play with your main character, you come in with a different one, so they game it, right? So you come in with your throwaways, learn the adventure, and then you go to your main store and beat it that way. I mean, I'm like, that seems like a lot of work. Why don't you just sign up as a DM and download the adventure, and you can play it that way, right? Like, but I guess people like to take advantage and win it. There's also good folks. I don't want to say it's terrible. I think it's an interesting way to introduce people, but because it's locally run, locally managed, all volunteers, so that's why you gotta take it with it. It wouldn't be without them.
Yeah.
So I want to give them the credit for that. And as I understand it, Wizards of the Coast doesn't provide much support. So there's not like a DM training. There's not a DM bar you have to get over to be a good DM. You could be a wretched DM and still run it because your store needs a DM. But I mean, go out, try it. I think that's the only way to do it. I don't know how else. I don't know what I would do to find a group if suddenly the folks I game with left town. I don't know what I would do. It'd be hard for me to start up a new group, because I don't like most nerds. I have to admit, I just don't. I'm too old to make new friends. And the friends I made, the friends that I made in Syracuse at my age was miracles. They're miracles. They wouldn't happen any other way. So.
I agree. Because we just moved to it. Yeah, he gave you something. I just got here, and I'm meeting new people at work, and I guess work is kind of one of the places that you find it. I know that you have trouble at work because they're either old, curmudgeon-y people, or they're all just like jocks, kind of like the jocks that never decided to try anything else, right? Like they're just like into like the football, and that's about it.
They're good guys, but yeah, they're not into the nerdy things I'm into. Is the best way to put it. They're definitely into the things they're into. Like there's a guy who has changed my perception of motorcycle clubs. Like he's a motorcycle guy, leather wearing, red rum on the back kind of thing. But he's every time I talk to him, when he talks about his club, he lights up like when I talk about D&D. You know, like he's got this group of dudes and gals that he loves, that are part of his life, that's important to him. And when he talks about it, I'm like, man, this is like, I always thought him as rough and tumble drug dealers, but this is a whole different view. So they've got their things and they love them. D&D and gaming and video gaming is just not part of it. Although they do play some games, they're familiar. Like when they follow in as gamer, they're like, oh, do you play Call of Duty? I'm like, man.
You always get that.
It's that same feeling when someone's like, oh, you play board games? I like Monopoly too. And you're like, man, like, come on.
That's so funny.
Yeah, hot take, Call of Duty is the Monopoly of hot take.
I can get behind that. Yeah.
Everyone knows it. Everyone plays it. It sucks. It's a terrible experience. No one should play it. So.
All right, guys.
On that note, everyone also gets it for Christmas, right? We all get Monopoly for Christmas.
Oh, dude. If only you knew. All right, guys. Thanks, Jordan, for joining us. So we'll have you on more. It's nice. I like this new layout. Hopefully you enjoy this live session. This will already be up on YouTube. You can watch it. I can always pull the audio off and make it our podcast. I mean, that's the way it's going to work. Yeah. And we'll go from there, guys. But hope you enjoyed it.
One more plug, Jordan. What's your show? When is it on?
So we are Brother Sister, the sibling streamers on twitch.tv/sibling streamers. We stream every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week, this past Tuesday, we changed up our format a little bit. Usually my sister and I, we play together and we're playing adventure games, but we decided to go head to head, do a versus, and we competed playing the 1997 version of The Lion King. She played on the Genesis, I played on the SNES.
Oh, two different versions of the game too.
Yeah, she kicked my butt. She took me down.
And so you guys, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, now we're doing a rematch. We're gonna try the Disney's Aladdin.
And y'all gonna do SNES and Genesis version of that?
We might pull it off because the way our setups are, we can do that. And then here's the big highlight. So we've been trying to do filler episodes because our big thing is coming not next week but the week after Link's Awakening releases. So we're going to be co-playing. I'm going to be playing the new one and she's going to be playing the original. We're going to be side by side, just kind of playing through, looking at differences, talking about like just how the game was formative for our childhood.
That's awesome.
That's great. I love that game. It's actually one of my favorite.
Yeah, me too.
Sweet.
Yeah. No. So that sounds great. I want to tune in. So
I want to watch it. You guys restream. You two restream on Thursdays, or you stop doing that?
We put up our YouTube videos on Thursdays. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll catch it. You know. We're gonna have to schedule it because I would like to maybe have you stream. Then when you're done, maybe we kick off since you have us restreamed on yours, and I can push you guys on ours. Yeah. So that's
and we typically average about like 10 people watching us now a week. So we're old guys trying to figure out Twitch. So after we finish, we can raid you. And you get our 10 followers, our watchers. I don't know if they'll stick around, but
hey.
You definitely don't want us before you because they're going to leave. Sure. So good stuff. We are the Mid-Geek Crisis. This is our first live show. So comment. Thanks to Caleb and Brian for joining in.
Like, subscribe, but we don't have a theme music. I will get all that set up next time around. I know how to do it now. Again, this is the first time I'm doing this live. But I can have some music going and whatnot, and we'll go from there. If you look at exactly. There you go. Play. Like, subscribe, share on YouTube. We have a Facebook page. If you're looking at us on Twitch, follow us and subscribe here on the Twitch channel. Go and follow us. Again, music. If you watch any of our previous episodes, are heretofore. He does our theme music, and we'll probably come back a little bit on this one. Guys. Episode 43 in the can. Love you guys.
Thanks.
Take care.
Be kind.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.